It is Thursday, June 9th, at least here in America, and we are talking about the greatest game ever created, and that is Big Brother. So first off, I just want to bring attention to the theme. Okay, you know how I like to black out the people like old school BVUS, right? However,
Yes.
we have two people who were evicted, but not really. So I did a little something different for them, and I hope you like it. So, Steven, this is jury duty. Let's get into it. Okay, wait. So first of all, I am Kyle Petty. All right, and I am joined by. Uh, I don't know, I'm running out of things to say. The ever so fabulous, one of my very best friends, John Dunphy. This is Jury Duty, your favorite Big Brother podcast. I know, very presumptuous of us. That's fine. You can find us in the socials at BB Jury Duty and also at bbjuryduty.com. Okay. So tonight we are talking about this wild, wild ass week in the Big Brother Australia house. Okay, I was chuckling in the beginning because I was watching you off stage during the credits, and you started dancing at the same time I did. That song is a bop. I have to
It
say
really
that.
is.
Yeah, I will never get rid of it. I'll never get
Such a
rid of
good
it.
song.
Yeah, thank you to my brother for putting that together for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jordan. You know, big ups, big ups. Okay, so where do we start here?
They've been hacked.
They have been hacked.
I think that's right.
Hacked. Yeah, they have been hacked. Big Brother was absent for a good chunk of this week, and a lot of things went down. But first, we had to select a new head of house, right? The house selected Estelle. Thoughts?
I
like her.
liked. I love Estelle. So yeah,
I think she's great. I think she's great. I don't care if she's a weird librarian.
Listen, I don't know what that was about because I thought she looked hot. Okay, but
here's the thing. I agree with both. Actually, all right. I have so many things to say about this. Right. So I do think she looked like a librarian, but I thought she was a sexy librarian.
Yeah.
And so here's what I have to say about this. This is kind of like a random thing, but I can't wait to share it with you. I really wanted to put the word librarian like in the title, right? But I was really a little flummoxed about how to spell it. I was like, wait, librarian. Right? And I was like, you know what? I know Tully tweeted this word. So let me go on Twitter. Instead of just using Google or anything, I went to Tully's Twitter. And I was like, oh, she tweets a lot. So I was like, oh man. So I went to search and I just started typing like library. And then like autocorrect suggested like, you know, librarian. So I pressed it. And here's like a really, really fun thing about Tully. She's a consistent lady. All right, let me okay, because here's why. Ready? Librarian, I'm having the problem again. And why is autocorrect failing me? Librarian search. Okay, ready? So what she said 2 days ago, she's some weird librarian. Estelle looks like a hot, sexy, powerful head of house. However, not even however, but also, additionally, for additional context, on August 6th, 2011, Tully tweeted, FYI, almost impossible to do a teacher/librarian without making it sexy. So Tully's like got the hots for librarians. Basically, people in education. Tully likes a learned person.
I think it really says something about how much we love the people in this cast of Big Brother Australia season 14 when you consider that when we need to find out how to spell something, we just look for a tweet that they have posted with the word in it rather than just looking up the word.
I'm trusting her more than Merriam-Webster.
Thank you, Tully.
Thank you, Tully. So stupid. All right. So anyway, so there's that. She did look like a librarian, but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
Okay, well, go ahead.
It's interesting because it was like Estelle got HOH this week, head of house, and I was very happy for her. But it was also a very rough week for Estelle in there.
It was a terrible week for Estelle, and I felt for her.
Yeah.
I will say that I didn't always disagree with everything that Tim was saying, though. I didn't always like how he said it, and I didn't like everything he said. But there were moments that I was like, okay, all right, I do kind of see what you're saying here. Like some of the stuff that he said in that eviction, but we'll get there. That's like so much later in the week. We're still talking about Monday.
I know.
So Estelle had a house. Well, was selected, which is winning, I suppose, in LA.
She won the hearts of most of the house guests, and they voted for her.
Of enough. They were the winner. So then they went on to play the nomination challenge. Did anything happen like really in between there? It's so hard like to remember.
They did have that moment that was like, I would have died if I was in that house and this happened. I think this is before the challenge, where the hackers had everybody gather into the lounge. Mm-hmm. And they were playing like little snippets of like messages from home for the housemates, but like cutting it off before they really got anything like really meaningful. And I was like, oh my God, these hackers are not playing around, because these people have been in there for over a month now.
Yeah.
Like that's really important to them. So like
it's over a month, especially during a time like this. Like the pandemic is still real. It's not like, like we're all acting like, we keep saying all these things like, oh, during COVID. No, that's now. It's still a thing. So I think that adds a layer to that for sure.
Yeah. Oh my God. We had the moment where Tim and Alicia had to run around the house, and if they completed the task, they got to have their get that intel. And
I'm glad you brought that up. It feels like so long ago. Yeah. That feels like weeks ago. Yes, they were running around there collecting all these different things. It was like a really, really fun moment. I'm just gonna take this moment to say how much I love Alicia. I like the way she plays this game. I like her personality. She has been one of the people that has made me laugh the most. Listen, I totally echo her sentiments on these chickens. I would not be doing I'm telling you, I would self-evict. I'd just get the hell out of there. But it does make for really good TV. And in the most respectful way possible. The accent really adds so much. When she's laying on, every time they show that clip of her laying down with the feed on her.
And yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the thing pops down and she goes, no, I can't.
Yeah.
It just takes me out. So
yeah. I've really grown to love Alicia, because like I think just like in general,
she's
like
great.
with any she really is great. And like with any season of Big Brother, like I always, if there's like veterans in there or OGs or whatever, I always kind of like gravitate to them, because I'm like, oh, these guys have been here before, like they're gonna be really fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the newbies are always coming in like trying to like take out the OGs or whatever, and it's like, so like I just naturally usually gravitate to like the OG side.
Which I did in this situation, especially, which is interesting too, because we don't even know these people.
Right.
You gravitate towards them, you don't even know anything about them. Like, you can call them OGs, but we don't know anything about them. Like, we should not be feeling partial to them at all. Even though you do. But yeah.
It's true. But Alicia has become one of like my favorites in there. And I feel like it's funny because I feel like we love so many people in this cast that like I feel like I'm saying a lot of people are my favorite, but it's just a great cast. I love Alicia.
I feel the same way about this cast as I did about the BB23 cast. Like there wasn't really people that I disliked, like Frenchie. But that didn't last. That didn't last long. But nobody else really like irked me. Like in this, nobody really. Well, that's not actually not true. There is somebody in this house that I don't like very much. And like I liked them early on. As time has gone on, I don't like them as much. You kind of you made a motion. Do you think you know who I'm talking about?
At first I did, but now the way
I'm
you're
not sure that
talking
I've ever
about
shared
them,
it with you. I don't think I've shared this.
Well,
It's been a very personal thought because I feel like this is a house favorite. So I have not been wanting to be that open about this. I'm a little nervous.
I know now that I'm wrong, because when you first said that, oh, like there's nobody in this house that irked me, and then you're like, well, my first thought went to Josh.
Oh,
but if there's somebody, I'm
he
very
irked
interested
me,
to hear
but
if there's
like
someone else.
Baby, I forgot all about him. Sorry, like no offense to you, Josh, but like that was short lived. If Monday felt like a long time ago, then baby, I you can only imagine what I think about you. So sorry. Thanks for being a part of the experience. No, for me, Drew.
Okay. All right. I actually was nervous at first about who you were going to say, but I totally agree with you. I feel like he's just been very like mean.
I feel like he's mean. Like, I don't know. Like, and I feel like there's something we're missing, and I feel like that's just kind of the edit that he's getting because again, we don't know these people, right? There is something about Tully that is so genuine and warm that we have gravitated towards. You know, I don't usually like when people come in the house after the fact, right? So sorry, Brenton, Jules, like anyway, all those sewer people. Tully, I don't usually like when people come in. I like the cast to be the cast, and then that's that. But I really, really like warmed up to her, and seeing how she's taken to him, even when the relationship is now over. The way that she reacts to these things and anything to do with Drew, like really, really like sets her off. So like there must be something that we're missing. If we are to believe everything that we believe about Tully, and I do believe it. So
I do.
There must be something that we're missing about Drew. So I'll leave that there. But like from what I've seen, he looks like a flip-flopper. Sometimes I think like maybe you're there just to have a good time, you know, because you understand the percentages. Chances are you won't win. And not in a bad way, but I mean, yeah, house of 20, only one winner. Chances are you're not going to win, you know? But like, I don't know. There's something about him like kind of like rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, he's had an interesting time in the house too. Because I you know, see, Tim is wild. Like he really is like a mastermind. But like, this is part of the reason I had a kind of a hard time with him this week too, going after Estelle the way he was. It's because he kept, you know, trying to nail it down that Estelle, you know, was causing all these problems with the OGs and was campaigning against Drew and this and that. And it's like, Tim, the whole reason that Drew left your side was because you were trying to get his girlfriend out the whole game. You know what I mean? Drew and Sam were numbers for the OGs. Sam, I think, sometimes would vote with the newbies, but she would work with the OGs at times also. It wasn't until Tim then tried to go into the house and try to get everybody to put up Sam that Drew actually said, was like, I felt betrayed by Tim. I thought we were playing together and this and that. And then Tim was just upset because he was like, I want to play with my friend, but he's over here with this girl. And I feel like in a way, Tim's the one that actually drove Drew away from the OGs in the first place. And I feel like that's part of the reason why Drew is acting the way he is with some of the OGs, is because this divide has come. And then what do we see after all the drama and Sam leaves? Tim's right back, like working with Drew anyway, who he was like pushing away because he was trying to get rid of his girlfriend.
Right, but okay, and this is where I do come to Tim's defense. Okay, controversy, because like it's stupid. I don't know. I don't think that was such like a. I think the move was just too soon. I don't think the motive behind it was necessarily bad because again,
I don't either.
No, because at the end of the day, well, although all right. because there's multiple ways to look at that. I guess from what we're used to, because we're used to a final two. So I would want to cut that extra person ASAP, right? Because they're going to get my spot. This is supposed to be my best friend. Even if this is, we're playing a game and blah, 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 blah. This girl is going to get in the way of that. This is who I want to play the game with. This is who I played the game with the last time we played. So I see her being a hurdle. And you also have to know that, even though we played the game together before, she's now automatically going to come before you.
Yeah.
But in this situation, there is a final three. So isn't there a world where they could all exist?
No. I feel like you know me. Like I think that if there's a showmance in a Big Brother house, it needs to be broken up immediately. Unless I'm ever on a season of Big Brother and I happen to be in a showmance.
That's where we come from. That's what I mean. That's where we come from, and that's how I want to validate Tim's move.
Right.
It's like she's got to go because like showmances can't exist.
Right.
I can't exist if this showmance exists. If I'm not in it, I'm out.
Right.
But if there's a final three, you don't necessarily have to be out. So did Tim need to make those moves? Especially when you know that Australia decides, play the game correctly, do the right thing, and Australia will make you win anyway.
Yeah. I think the thing that's funny for me, too, with the whole Tim-Drew thing, and like, listen, it's the game. Obviously, Tim's just in like self-preservation mode. He doesn't want anything to go wrong. But like, it's just funny to me that he's going so hard after Estelle. Like that whole thing of like Drew and the newbies, right? That whole like poster that came out from Big Brother AU, that came as a result of like Drew switching sides when Tim was going after Sam. So for Tim now, and like Tim did that. And I totally get what you're saying about how like you have to get rid of the showman. So I totally understand Tim's move there, and he is like a mastermind. So like he clearly knows what he's doing. But I feel like just seeing the way that he was treating Estelle, and maybe this goes back to what you're saying, just sort of like the way he was saying certain things, not exactly what he was saying, but like it just felt like he was going way too hard after Estelle. And she was making that move on Drew after Drew had actually like tried to take shots against her and her alliance, the OGs. That's when she started campaigning against Drew. And now Tim is throwing it back in her face, being like, "Oh, stop trying to, take the moral high ground. Like you were campaigning against Drew and this and that." Like very publicly in front of the house, like calling her out for like campaigning against Drew, who was coming after her. Meanwhile, Tim was also going after Drew and his alliance. You know what I mean? Like that's just like the issue I have with it. I think.
I know. I have so much more to say about that, but we're jumping. Like, no, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
I just get so excited.
No, we're excited. There's so much to talk about. I want to respond. Oh shoot! Hold on. Let me use one of my mom's Post-its and write down like what you said to make sure I remember. Because there's so many things to talk about. I don't want this point to get lost. Okay. All right. So first, because that was really what you're referring to was the final eviction room conversation.
Well, right. I mean, just in general, this whole week.
It is in general, but if we're going to talk generally, we're going to end up getting specific, and it's all roads will lead back.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
To that,
you're right.
And that's why, like, I have so much to say. We got to leave it there. We got to leave it there for a minute. So Jules won the nomination challenge. We don't even know what it was, and honestly, who cares? Because the politics about this.
This actually was fun. You had to stand on that platform. This is almost reminded me of Survivor.
This is a very Survivor thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. They had the ball that was in the arc, basically, and it's standing on a platform of springs and blah 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 blah. So Jules won. Of course she did. Those fucking legs. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I like Jules a lot.
Those fucking fitness legs. Get out of here. Listen, she can crack chestnuts with those things, okay? Bang, bang. You want to roast them on open fire? I'll be right there. Bang, bang. Jules is out of control. I love her. Oh, my gosh. She's so hot. I love her nail polish. Oh my god, the color. Oh my gosh, I love Jules. I love Jules. Hi, Jules. Hopefully you're watching. She's not. So Jules says, "Listen, I'm rolling with the OGs. Always have been. So get up there, Sam, Alicia, and Drew. What did you think of her? What did you think of her selections?"
I liked it. I thought it was very simple reasons for each one. Sam, Sam was you're part of a couple. That's not working with
made
me.
Good sense.
Alicia,
made good sense.
Yeah, Alicia, you're a big threat. You're kind of like the leader of the newbies.
I know. It made good sense, but boy, did it sting.
Yeah, I know. And then Drew, her comment was he can't be trusted.
And he can't.
Yeah.
Listen, from a game point of view, these nominees made literally the most sense. Am I standing Jules? Yes, I am. But these nominees made a lot of sense. I just really didn't want to see Alicia up there because I stand. But I understand. If I was Jules, I would have done the same thing. She's scary. She's scary because she's playing the game the way the game should be played.
Yeah.
Like a fucking game.
Yeah.
You're a threat. Get out of here. I want to win. You damn right. I didn't go through that chicken shit. just to walk out of here with no money.
Poor Alicia, honestly. There's no way that
her. Leave her alone. There's justice for Alicia.
Right? Like, there's no way that, like, one of the thoughts as she's getting ready to go into this house is like, oh man, I'm gonna have to deal with so many chickens. Like, there's no way that was even on her mind.
There is absolutely no way that when she's thought that even her wildest dreams, like how she was going to strategize and navigate through this house. Because listen, the way she plays this game, she is a fucking super fan. Do you understand me? This girl, she knows exactly what to do and when to do it. She is leading every single charge in every scenario she ever imagined. She did not picture nobody chicken in there. No way.
I loved her being like, "Big brother, are there any chickens involved?" I felt so bad.
I really felt for her. I felt for her because I think I would be doing the same thing. Because anything with feathers fucking freaks me the hell out. Listen, Alicia,
you are not a bird person.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. Yeah. I will listen. I will go out and spend good money on a good meal. If a bird just shows up and stuns me, I'll throw it. I got to get the hell out of there. I don't do birds. Oh no. Listen, I give her so much credit. I would not be laying down in nobody's honey and seed. Okay, sorry, evict me right now. I wouldn't even try it. Okay. I laughed about her. I can't, but I wouldn't. It wouldn't even be I can't because I wouldn't have tried. Okay.
I feel like you would have just been like, no.
I have to do what? Where's my bag? John, get my bag. Yeah, pack this thing up. We out of here. Yeah. These people are crazy, and I just be making a ruckus all the way out. Oh no. Oh, but there they are. It makes sense for Jules. It made sense for Jules. And then the scramble happened. Sam and Drew didn't really campaign against each other or anything like that. I don't know. Drew, I don't know. It's so hard to say. I'm trying to hold back with some of my comments and things like that because you really, really don't know. Because we don't have feeds. You have such a more educated opinion on things in other iterations of this show.
Right.
I don't have a lot of context for things, so we just had to leave that there. But because we don't know. Maybe we'll get some insight postseason. But for right now, this is what we got. Yeah. But we saw Sam leave the house.
Very close vote.
It was it 7-6?
I think it ended up 6-5. Alicia got 2 votes, I believe, but 6-5.
I don't remember. No. Again, that feels like weeks ago. Yeah, she had this coming. I can't really say that I felt that bad. I felt like Sam. I was annoyed by a lot of her gameplay towards the end. Although what I will say about her is that I would love to see her in a season where she was not in a showman's. I would love to see her come back.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she was somebody who actually had a handle on the game, and she kind of lost track of that because of Drew.
Right. And Gabby said that. Gabby said as much to her. Cause I did not like that at all when Sam came for Gabby, being like, "Oh, are you saying this because you have a crush on Drew?" Like, just kind of like accusing her of like almost wanting to push Sam out because she likes Drew, but Sam's in the way. It's like, no, come on.
Yeah. Stop
come on
it.
now.
Just stop.
Gabby said to her, it was like, listen, you know, we all love you in here, but like all you do is kind of hang out with Drew. Like if you want to, if you don't want to keep getting put up, because I feel like at this point Sam had been up like 3 weeks in a row or something like that. It's like if you don't want this to happen, maybe you should.
Maybe you should cut ties. Maybe you should step out. Yeah, no, she wouldn't. She wouldn't. And I truly think it was to her detriment. I don't know that Sam ever would have been a target had it not been for her relationship with Drew, and I think that's unfortunate. Because she did have a really, really rough go from the moment she walked in. Like, let's not. You touched on Josh before, but like, yikes, that was a rough time. you know,
for sure.
And it went right to her being in this showmance with Drew. And as soon as she got involved in that, Tully walked in, and that made everything so much more complicated. And then she basically threw her game right down the toilet. So I wouldn't mind seeing Sam come back sometime just to see what she can actually do.
Right.
Yeah. But farewell. This didn't go so great for you. Didn't go great. So that's the completion of that eviction cycle. Do you have anything to say regarding that cycle?
The only thing,
the next one.
I know we touched on it, but I don't know if there's anything else to even say about it. I mean, because we know what it is, but I know we touched on it very briefly. Did we talk about the intel that Alicia and Tim watched together of the deal between Joel and Drew?
I don't know what episode that happened.
Yeah, well, I didn't mention it. Oh yeah, you know what? When did that happen?
I feel like that had to be Tuesday's episode, because first it was Tim and Alicia doing the KFC searching thing. Yes,
you're
Sam
right.
must have been
Okay. Tim and Alicia have been hanging out a lot.
Right, and I hope that we get a reboot. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, I like to separate our eviction cycles with our little segment of surmising Sonia's style. Now, I only have one picture. Okay. I only have one picture, and I'm really hoping this is actually what she wore, because I have to be honest, I didn't pay super attention because it was such a wild week. But she did post this on her Instagram, so I believe this is what she wore at some point. This is Miss Sonia Kruger. My God.
Wow.
Every year is prime for her. That thigh gap out of control. I mean, she's just a gorgeous woman.
Yeah.
It's a hot for me.
Definitely a hot. We stand Sonia.
Yeah. Wow. She's really something else.
Yep.
She's something else. So thank you, Sonia. Thank you for this. Thank you. Thank you for blessing us. I don't think we've given her a knot yet.
I don't think so. She's got, Sonia's got style.
I was about to say, you just use the alliteration, but we already used the word style. So, Sonia and style was another S word. Sonia. We'll work on it. We'll get back to you. But I think that's really impressive, because even as much as we love Arissa, she did get a couple of knots. She got a couple of knots along the way. And Sonia, listen, I feel like we're at least at the midpoint for BBAU, and she hasn't got one yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so good job, Sonia. In terms of style, you are leading the pack.
Yeah, keep it up.
Gosh, what makes me feel bad is that like Julie's in the bottom of all this shit, man.
Julie has
her star is really dimming.
And we still love Julie, but
no, we do.
Yeah,
she's our because we have no choice. That's not why. That's not why. I don't want Julie to go. It's not going to be BBUS like without Julie. But I gotta say, Sonia Styles been crushing it. Arissa, you saw the BB Cam was already renewed? Did you see the
yes,
message?
I did. BB Can 11.
Great news, great news. We'll be traveling north again for sure. For sure.
Yes.
Okay, so that's that. That's that. So now, can we pull up like on the wiki or something? How did we end up with 4 nominees?
So,
and why don't we remember?
There's so much happening. I rewatched episode 16 when I got home from work before we got on.
Really? That's why you weren't responding to my text messages, you rude bitch.
What? Wait, you were texting me?
Yeah, on Facebook Messenger. And you couldn't be bothered. You couldn't be bothered.
I'm very sorry.
One of them still didn't even go through.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I said, I'm excited too. And the other thing that I responded to is something that I'm not sure that we're allowed to announce or discuss yet. So, more to come.
Oh, the only thing that I have in my notebook is that Big Brother told the housemates that 4 people are going to be nominated tonight. I don't know why. I don't know if there was a reason given. It just says that BB tells the housemates that 4 people will be nominated tonight. So,
all right. Well, that's good enough for me. It's time to move on anyway. So, 4 people were nominated. We don't know why, but there they are. And the people selected was JC, Gabby. Hold on. It was JC, Gabby, Drew, and Alicia. Now, there was something about, all right. Yeah, but this was not the original setup.
No.
This was not. What was the original lineup? Because this, I remember.
Our girl Tully.
Yes, okay. Tully was the other person that was originally nominated, right? So the house said JC, Gabby, Drew, and Tully. Mm-hmm. But Estelle said, fuck off.
Yeah. And thank goodness she did.
I'll have none of it, she said. She didn't say that. She didn't actually say that, but her actions did. As head of house, she was allowed to remove somebody from the block. You know, that's not what you guys call it, but remove somebody from the block and put somebody else up. And she removed Tully and selected Alicia. And this is where things started to get murky. And we'll definitely get into that. So that's what we have up. After that, the hackers. No. Before we even get to the hackers, first, Estelle, as head of house, had to select 2 people to play in the panic room. Yeah. And she selected Alicia and Gabby. And this panic room challenge was basically to enter a room full of keys. Find whatever key would open up the lock to press the green buzzer or the green button or whatever it was. They had 3 hours to do so. And they went through all these locks, went through all these keys in that one lock. Open up the box just to find another box with another lock. And then they go through all of that. They even open up that lock and they find another lock. And then Big Brother adds to the confusion by throwing more keys onto the floor. Which, like, these panic rooms are absolutely not designed to win. Like, they're not. They're setting up to fail. It doesn't matter who goes in.
Are you surprised at all? Because the first panic room we got was not like this. It was
the first competition. Was Taras and Dave, right?
Yeah, and they were competing against each other, and you knew that one of them was going to win, and not necessarily get like a power or anything, but like they wouldn't be.
No, but at least then you would just be safe. You'd just be safe.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't gotten another one of those.
No, and I would prefer that. Like this, I don't know. Like these, it's fun to watch and it's entertaining, right. But when you just know that it's going to end in the punishment, it's like, okay, like what was the point of this then? I don't know. Like I don't. really love these challenges. It kind of takes away from even the fun of like selecting anybody for the panic room, because it's like it kind of doesn't matter who you pick. They're not designed to win. Like
I enjoyed this one, but I think it was really just because I enjoyed watching Alicia and Gabby working together. Like they were the reason that I enjoyed watching.
Because they are just entertaining people and they're just like a good time. But that's not because like the task was like fun to watch.
Right.
I was excited when I thought they won, and then when I realized they opened up another box, I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, so this is not really fun. Like they were not supposed to win this. Like,
did you love they both screamed just like when that box opened, only to reveal another box?
Yes. That was fun. And I guess in a way, like knowing where this entire thing went, there's a part of me that does sort of enjoy it because it does ensure that the twist you intend to happen happens.
Yeah.
You know, so from like a bird's eye point of view, like now stepping back, like looking at the whole picture, I get it. I do get it. But like, I don't know, as a viewer, it's like, we didn't need to do it this way, you know? But because they failed their panic room task, they now had to go outside in the yard, and the punishment was this snap eviction. So immediately, these 4 nominees became 3, which is right back to home base, right?
Yeah.
And in this moment, the house guests had to, in front of everyone, vote for who they wanted to be eliminated. And this, I love.
Oh yeah.
When things like this happen. I love when people have to show their cards. I love situations like this. And this is something that we get often on the challenge. And I don't think we discuss it enough. Because the challenge is always showing us moments where you know, people have to show themselves. They have to either align with their people or not. Like it becomes like very, very clear, like with the sabotages and all these different things. This is the first time we saw this here. At least to this degree anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody had to really, really show their cards. And as a result, we saw Drew leave. He was evicted in a snap.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Do you think I thought this was like very exciting. I love that everybody had to vote right out in front of everybody else. It wasn't anything where you could have a conversation, even like a quick 5-minute conversation, or just like everybody go outside.
And they didn't even know why they were going outside.
Do you think that anybody's vote would have been different if they could have done it privately? Like, do you think anybody was pressured by because Drew got 9 votes? You know, it was pretty overwhelming. Is there anybody that you think might have changed their vote if they could have done it privately?
No. No, not based on these nominees anyway. Yeah. I think maybe in a different situation, but who's going to vote JC? No. JC is very well liked from the support that he gets when he plays certain challenges and stuff like that. Like people seem to really like him. I don't think people would have voted for him. Gabby is that middle of the road person. From a gameplay point of view, I wouldn't evict Gabby. No. Because even if she hasn't voted in my favor, I do believe that of the people on the OG side, she's probably the most pliable. And it would be a little bit easier to convince Gabby to jump back to the newbie side than maybe others, right? So I don't know that I would have gone. I wouldn't have voted for Gabby. And Alicia, I guess if I was an OG, I might have, but like against Drew, no.
What'd you think about what Dave said? His reason for voting for Drew. He said, "He said I think Tully just needs some free air." I thought that was interesting.
I do think that was interesting, and I would love a little bit more context, like around that. Like as a viewer, I sort of can assume what you mean, but I would like to not assume. I would like to really know like where that came from, and was it definitely just about Tully's emotions, or was it like Tully personally, or was it more about like game itself? Because that's where I think things get a little murky. There's, oh my gosh, and I would love to get into like a bigger conversation around this. But, you know, there's been so many things that Tully has said about how she wanted to play her own game, play her own game, play her own game, which I do understand. You don't want to be thinking about Drew so much when you're making all these different decisions. But Sam is gone now.
Yeah.
There's room to wiggle in. You know, I guess we sort of know that there wasn't, you know, because we know that Tim and Drew had already been talking like pre-Sam's eviction. But somebody like Tully, unless she did know, and that's what I mean, like there's some context to be had around that. But like for the three of them to have been in this game together, and from what we've inferred from things that Tim has said, like along the way in this season, Tim was always miffed that he wasn't playing the game with Drew the way he wanted to because Tully was in the way. So something like that, I feel like Tully could have had a way in to work with Drew. So I'm not sure. Like there's a lot about that I'm curious about. I mean, she did vote for him. Right. And again, that's what I mean. Like I would like a little bit more context around that.
You know, can I mention something else that's interesting
of
course
you can. Of course.
About
we're here today.
Since we're talking about Tully, because I thought about this recently. So on that first night when everybody came in, the four OGs came in first, right? They hid, and then they had what? It was like I think 11 house guests or something like that. Newbies that entered.
I don't know.
Something like that. But
whatever you say,
everybody else. So after that, though, right? You had this like a few waves of new people coming in, right? First, you had the sewer rat crew. Next, it was Tully, and then you had Brenton and Jules come in. And something that's really interesting to me, because those first batch of newbies, they thought that they were the first ones in. You had those Tim, Dave, Reggie, and Estelle. That foursome get brought in later. Everybody that's been introduced into the game late entered with a group, except for Tully. And like, sure, Tully entered the house and knew people in there, but like as soon as she got in, Drew's already in a relationship with somebody else. That foursome, that came in, they were already, they had to kind of agree that like we want to go with the four of us to the end. And then Drew, Trevor, and Layla, they had the sewer rat sort of alliance thing. Like everybody had something, and even if Tully came in and like knew people, like she wasn't a part of any of those groups.
Right.
Which I think makes her entrance into the game so interesting. When you look at how she's like a latecomer, but not anybody that had like people, like any other numbers with her walking into the house.
Right. She didn't.
And I think it almost makes it like more impressive to me, like the game that she's had, because I feel like she's gotten pulled in two different directions all season, trying to get convinced to go over here, go over there. And she's always just kind of like done whatever she thought was the best thing for her to do. And it's gotten her. We're now, this week is the halfway point of the game. We're past the halfway point now, and I feel like she kind of came into the house alone. Her name's been in people's mouths at times. She's never really had a true like alliance that she could have, other than the OGs, which has been a mess. And she's motoring along.
She is. Listen, she's doing very, very well for herself. I'm just starting to get a little nervous. I'm getting a little nervous because I'm not sure what it's so hard to discern like what the pecking order is in things when you don't have feeds, I would really, I'm concerned for her placement in this OG's alliance. Tim is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
Away to his credit, I think it's good for his game, but it's just not good for anyone else's.
Right.
Yeah. So like I don't know what to expect for Tully.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, because I mean, even Brenton and Jules at the end of the day, like they have each other. Like even though they walked in, they're on totally different sides of the house. But we saw from like some of the interactions from last week that like they're still united in a way.
I wonder if
feeds. God, I
know.
See more.
I wonder if they're working on different sides is a strategic thing. Because after that conversation they had, like I feel like there was a point where Brenton was kind of not like actually working with the OGs, but I think he like voted with them. And like I wonder though if they kind of said like, hey, like we got each other's backs, but let's go to the opposite sides of the house. We can feed each other information. We can help protect each other. It would be the smartest thing for them, I think.
No, it would be the smartest thing. And it's something that we wouldn't really see coming because, well, production did not let us see it. Which I don't know if I like. I don't know. I wish they were currently in there. There's just so much. There's so many other things to like think about and talk about. Oh well. Yeah. Not how the game is played, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can wish as much as we want. So Drew was evicted in a snap. We kind of already went over that. Which left JC, Gabby, and Alicia playing the second chance challenge. And this particular challenge, I thought, this is another one I would have left. I don't think I would have played this.
I loved watching it, though.
I loved watching it. I would have no patience for it. Did you see Johnson had tweeted that the panels were actually very hot that they had to stand on? Did you see that?
Oh, I saw. I did see.
I think it was Johnson who said that. Yeah, so anyway, so what they had to do was basically just like kind of balance on this beam, get to the end, and they had to stack cylinders in the shape of a pyramid. Basically being left with nothing on the end of this beam, but like some stacked up taco stands. That's basically what it looked like, right? And then they put the cylinders in there and make a pyramid. It was like 10 different cylinders.
So wobbly, that thing.
So wobbly. I would have no patience at all for this. And I was just like, just forget it. Just forget it. If I lose, I lose. Can't do it. I just can't. And I'd be fine with people rewatching my episode knowing that that's how I went out. Yeah, that's how I went out. That's mad crazy. You couldn't do it either. Like, yeah. But you know who did do it? JC.
Mr. JC. Great performance. Great
performance. Great body.
I felt so bad for Gabby and Alicia in this because they were all very close. There was a point. Like they were all around like 5 or 6. And I think Gabby went down first. Or no, I think maybe Alicia's fell first. But like 2 of them stayed up. And then Gabby's, all of hers fell. There was like 5 or 6 up there. And then like JC just didn't make any mistakes, though. That was the thing. Like, you know, Alicia and Gabby were doing very well, and they each had like one bad miscue. JC never had that miscue to like allow them to really get back in it. But it was a fun competition to watch.
It was really, really fun to watch. But like, you know, you're saying that they were so close. Listen, in a numbers game, 5 or 6 out of 10 is close. But in this situation, it so wasn't.
No. I mean, at one point, all 3 of them had like 5 or 6. Like,
no,
I'm not saying like
I know what you mean, but like, my goodness,
like they were all tied up. That's what I'm saying. Like they were like neck and neck up to a point, and then once Gabby and Alicia fell, JC never lost any of his. So like they had to go back down to 0, and he was still at that 6 that they had been at.
That's all. I just want to make sure you were really acknowledging the beast mode that JC enters. Okay, because nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about that. I feel like he's like flying under the radar, and like JC, every time he's thrown to the fire, he hops right out.
I wrote down that he's
aplomb.
I wrote down that he is absolutely becoming like a comp beast. We
yes,
saw him
becoming.
Well, I mean, we saw him come back against you know, Lara and Lulu in that comp, and they teamed up against him. He's won this one now. Has he had any other big wins? I don't remember.
Not that I remember, but I don't think we need to. That one against Layla and Lulu, and then this one is enough for me. And he's always in the finals of whatever this is. Like,
yeah, even that one,
the last people up.
He came in second place to Jules in that in the competition with the ball that you had to balance, and then earlier in the week.
He also was up there with the holding thing.
Oh, that's right. He was up there. I think it was Tim and Dave, and he said, like, "Am I good?" Like he just,
am I good? Don't leave me alone. Goodbye.
But he came in third. Yeah, he has a track record of being top 3 at least. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean. JC is a comp beast, and nobody's talking about it, but we are. You heard it first on Jury Duty. Stupid.
He did. I did laugh very briefly when he was having a little trouble figuring out which direction he was supposed to put that.
Don't you laugh, my baby. Don't you laugh at him. Don't you laugh.
But hey, listen, he figured it out. It's okay.
No, he did figure it out. No, we love him. We love him. I mean, I'm honestly, Original Bay is still Taras. Like, let me not.
I love we haven't talked enough about Taras tonight.
We haven't. I love
Taras.
Taras. I love Taras. It just makes me smile.
I just feel like Taras is just like such a cool person. I don't even know who he is. I've seen him in 16 episodes of a TV show all the way across the world. But Taras, you are super cool.
I know. I don't know. There's just something about him that I'm just very, very endeared towards. I just feel like he's very genuine, just very sweet. I just really want to talk to him. He just seems like really fucking nice. Like, that's all. I don't know. I mean, he's cute. I'm not gonna lie. He's not that hot. So whatever. So there's that. So anyway, so JC won second chance challenge. I guess we kind of already said that. I don't know. You mentioned Taras and Emerald Smitten. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't know where I am. What's going on? What is this podcast?
Well, we were talking about JC being a comp beast, and then you said, but Taras is still actual Bay.
That's just the end of the conversation.
Yeah, that's it.
End stream. No. Stupid. However, you know what time it is now. Now we're at.
It's time. I was gonna say something, but you just made that face at me.
No, I thought you were actually going to give me the time. That's what I thought you were going to do.
No.
It is 11:23. It's like, Gaddy.
I was gonna say it's eviction time.
Damn right it is. And now we're ready to get into this Tim slamming Estelle thing. Okay. So Tim's whole thing was that, Estelle is building this platform where, she's a heart player, which is a new term for us. We haven't really heard people be referred to in this way. Yeah. But, he's saying that she's a heart player and and this is what she's saying. And he's saying that basically it's fraudulent. She's playing more with her head and she's trying to hide under the guise of being a heart player, being this emotional player. And I'm not sure that I disagree with that. I'm not sure that I disagree with that. And I think that maybe some of Estelle's anger was that. And again, this is only we don't know how this is edited. We don't have the extra context around these things. From what I've seen and what I can tell and what I can surmise is she is kind of playing with her head. Where did Alicia come from?
I mean,
because she's kind of the head of the newbies. It makes sense. Right. And it's almost like Tim is just saying, just own it.
Right.
He didn't say don't say that, but don't say that you're a heart player and you're playing emotionally and I'm putting all this stuff into it. Meanwhile, you're making decisions that are game based. And that is what she did. I'm not saying it's not still difficult, but there is a shred of truth in what Tim is saying here.
Right. No, I can agree with that. I'm trying to think of alternative reasons. It definitely is a smart move if you're taking out the person who's the leader of the opposite alliance in the house. That's right. A smart move that you're using your head with that. I'm trying to think and then that's the other thing too, because this came in a split decision. Because part of me was thinking was it the plan of the OGs? If we have the chance, we're going to put up Alicia, so and Estelle was just kind of doing what her alliance wanted. But then at the same time, this was something Alicia wasn't even originally up there. This was a split second decision that was made by Estelle. So I don't know if I can really say that.
Exactly.
And then the only other thought, the only other thought that I would have is that maybe Estelle would put her up there because she felt okay, this is the person who's leading the other side of the house. But I don't want her to go, and I don't think she'll go with the people that are still up there, because at that point she was still up next to Drew. The snap eviction hadn't happened yet. And I'm wondering if she just felt I'll put Alicia up because that's what my alliance would want. But it's not. She's never going to go home. We're going to get Drew out. I wonder. You know what I mean? I wonder if it was that sort of, because we have seen people put up their own ally in the, as a pawn before thinking there's no way that this person can't go home on my HOH week. You know, like we've seen that sort of thing happen before, and I just wonder if that was like any
even so, I could get with like a thought process like that, but I also believe that anytime you put somebody on the block, you are immediately saying that you view this person as expendable. So like, does the motivation behind it like really, really matter? Even if I didn't intend for you to go, I'm also sending the message that like, I don't mind if you do.
Yeah, I don't mind putting you at risk.
Right. Exactly. Because it's not like you could have put up another OG in her place. Big Brother just said you had to remove someone.
Yeah. She could have she could have put up she had options. That's the thing. And because I was trying to look at who's still in there. And I'm thinking, all right, so she's obviously not going to put up any of the OGs.
You can select anybody.
And then but then I was thinking even like right. But like I think Brenton would have been an obvious choice. I like Brenton. Sure. I don't necessarily want to see Brenton go, but he's brand new into the house. He's not on your side of the house, so you know
why not?
That would certainly would have been an option. So
you know who else would have been an option? Like especially at this stage in the game and the way that things have been going. Like I know they've been getting along a little bit more, but like why not Johnson?
Yeah. I noticed that I think it was Johnson and Brenton actually who were in that little HOH suite with Estelle, sharing her snacks and stuff like that too. Which
I did not notice. I paid no attention to any of that, which is also an oversight for us because her whole head of house suite was now infiltrated by Drew and that whole candy thing.
I felt bad for her on this.
I felt bad for her on that too. Yeah, that sucked. That really sucked.
Yeah. It just gets confiscated.
Yeah, I didn't really pissed too, especially because like she didn't even know why she's going. So what the situation was, whether or not I'm assuming if you're listening to this, you already heard, you already know what's going on. But Estelle left all of her little snacks and treats that she was entitled to as the head of house. She left them over the edge of the HOH suite and on top of the cabinets in the kitchen, which allowed somebody as tall as Drew to just leap over the cabinet and just kind of take her snacks, which obviously Big Brother saw. And as a result of this negligence, Big Brother confiscated her snacks, which caused quite a rift between Estelle and Drew. It left Drew banished to the garden. I believe that it was this action that kind of got him that eviction. Yeah.
And did you enjoy the back and forth between Tim and Estelle while Drew was like laying outside in the backyard? I couldn't believe it. They were just going back and forth like that. It was driving me crazy.
I had mixed feelings on that too.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that says that, like, I understand where Tim is coming from. Like, stop complaining that you don't have candy because, like, no one else has ever had candy. So it just sounds like the entitled complaining about the fact that they have lost some entitlement. Like, I do sort of get that. But, like, yo, I earned this entitlement.
Yeah. I got voted into office. These are mine.
That's on you. That's on you. If you wanted to get lollies, then you should have stood up and you should have made a speech and you should have lobbied for it. And you didn't. So,
and because he kept saying that like she got the lollies 2 weeks in a row, and I'm like, all right, well, she earned those 1 week by becoming HOH, but then if the other HOH chose her to be in the HOH suite, hey, maybe she's just playing a good social game, like you can't blame her for that. Yeah, like,
I'm sorry that I'm playing better than you, and I'm sorry that makes you miffed. Like, so there is that other side to it for sure.
Tim, he was very mean at times this week, I feel.
I know. I'm starting to have a little bit of a hard time with Tim.
Especially because, like, I love Estelle. He was, like, going in on her in the kitchen.
I know. I love Estelle, too. Yikes. What's going on? What's going on with these people? Do we get into who left? No. We were just talking about the eviction and basically the whole Tim and Estelle thing. And again, she's marketing herself as a heart player and trying to, I feel like she's trying to gain favor with people by trying to say she's an emotional player. And I'm not saying she's not, but she is playing with her head.
Yeah, I mean,
And she
I
should
feel
be.
like
She should be. She's
Right.
just Tim's frustration is that like Tim is completely not heart player. He is not putting any emotion into anything he's doing. He's playing a game. So somebody like him, I can see him resenting that. Like, it's such an, oh my gosh, what an interesting dynamic.
See,
because you have these situations where people play both sides of an alliance politically and in their social game.
Yeah.
This is a different way of playing both sides. It's such a smart way of going about things. She's playing this, she's acting like she's this emotional heart player, meanwhile making very smart head decisions, but under the guise of still being this emotional person, which isn't really a guise because she's clearly crying and she's losing it. She's unraveled this woman.
I think she is a heart player. I think Estella absolutely is a heart player, and she plays with a lot of emotion. But I think you can be those things and still like use your head. So I guess I almost feel like in a way it's unfair to like accuse her. Like I don't know. It's just like you can be a heart player that's using your head. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I'm not exactly sure that maybe those two things should be separated.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I saw Taras on Twitter he was talking a lot about this heart player versus head player thing.
Yeah, I saw that he was having a rough go with that. He's like, can somebody please explain all these things to me? And I didn't read the entire thing because at that moment I wasn't caught up. So I kind of glossed past it and I never went back to it. I feel like there was something I wanted to bring up though, like regarding this like situation.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, excuse me. I don't remember what it was.
Well,
oh, shoot. There's so many things that happen on Twitter. I'm trying to like scroll back, but like
I know.
There's just so many things. I keep scrolling and scrolling. I've been scrolling this entire time, and I'm only now up to the tweet about Tully's eviction outfit, which
stunning.
Fucking fire. Okay. Like, she is a stunner from beginning to end. Pink. Yeah, no. Pretty in period. She's just always she is just always pretty. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. There's so many things here. I don't know what I wanted to say. But yeah, so that's that. So we saw that Alicia left the house. Alicia was selected to go. And from an objective point of view, it makes a lot of sense. She kind of has stepped up. She's the new Joel, basically. She is kind of leading the newbies, per se. However, she isn't really evicted.
That's true.
She's in the hackers BB mainframe and hanging out with Drew. That's why I just gave her that brief pixelation in the intro. She's not blacked out because she didn't leave.
I like that.
But she's not really like correct. Did something happen with your mic? What's going on here? Say something. Oh, well, now I can't hear you at all. Before, I was just hearing static. Now I hear nothing. Oh, this is not good. See? Oh.
Hello?
Oh, there you are. There you are.
I'm back.
Oh, thank goodness. We were just talking about that on the challenge.
I know. We were just talking about that.
And I was like, if this man leaves me sitting here like somebody's asshole.
No.
By myself.
If the mic didn't start working again, I was just going to unplug it and use my headphones. So we would have been good.
Thanks for having it back up. Thanks for having it back up.
Alicia and Drew, not really gone.
Not really gone.
I'm excited about this, honestly. How do you feel about this? I'm surprised that I'm excited about it because I was the one. So like, we don't need Brendan and Jules. There's enough players in there, and now I'm the one that's happy that two players aren't getting evicted.
Okay, I do want to say things about this. I was trying to think through if it's a spoiler or not, and I don't really think it is because it's fine. So I watched Big Brother Australia 12.
Right.
There was a situation like this as well. There were two people in a secret room in the house. Only one person left though. The other person left the house. Period. Gone. One person got to return. So if that's what this is again, then I very, very much want Alicia to return.
Me too.
There is absolutely no scenario where I wanted Alicia to leave. However, I also didn't want Gabby to go. Like, there was no good ending.
I know.
To that elimination. Since JC removed himself, it was really just down to Gabby and Alicia. And
it was heartbreaking to see them sitting next to each other.
Yeah, I hated it. I was like, there's no good outcome here. I'm not. And there's honestly, of the two of them, there's no one that like, oh, I'd rather see this one go just a shade more. I mean, this was the most even split in my mind.
No.
Alicia has added so much to this show and this cast just by her personality, the whole chicken thing, everything about her. Like I smile every time I see her, but I also smile every time I see Gabby. So this was not the eviction that was really. I did not like this at all. Like I was not happy with either outcome.
You know what I thought was so like cute too? I think that this is from their panic room. It looked like Alicia on her necklace had like a key. And I think it was from the right, and it was like because there was one point she picked up one of those keys and was like, "Is this even a key?" And it looked like she had like a bent key on her necklace, and I was like, I wonder if that was the one that she was like. I thought that was so like cute.
That's cute. I didn't even connect the two. I saw the key and well, I'm a big Janet Jackson fan.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago when she was going through her whole, I'm taking control of my life and of my career. She wore a key earring because it was like, this is her symbolizing her freedom. I got the key,
right.
And anytime I see somebody wearing a key, that's what I think of. Oh, she's someone who's taking control, right? Like we had Joel, who was kind of like calling a lot of the shots. She was kind of like she was in a very Sam position. I felt like kind of. I mean, Alicia was always a little bit more headstrong than Sam.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like Alicia was falling into a spot where she could have foregone her own game for his.
Yeah.
But he left at honestly the right time, like for Alicia.
Absolutely, because she was campaigning hard to be head of house. Mm-hmm. And he helped her campaign. She got it, and then he was out the door.
Yeah. She was headstrong on her own, but I feel like she was starting to get, but I don't know that we would have gotten that version of Alicia if it wasn't for that whole, when Joel was just like, oh, I'm not really sure that I'm not into you. I'm not really, really sure. I mean, we should just cool it. That kind of put the brakes on things, but I think that she was headed down the same path, and I think that's what stopped it, and it may have been what saved her game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if she makes it to the end of this, I mean, like, she might have my vote. It really depends on who gets there, but like, her gameplay has just been like really, really fantastic. I just love this Alicia that we're seeing. I really like it.
Me too. I totally agree.
Yeah, I really.
She plays great. She is. It's really impressive to me how she campaigns when like votes are coming up and stuff. She always gives like very good arguments and like gives great reasoning for why people should vote one way or another. She's just very influential in the house, and like it's we keep calling her the leader of the newbies, but she's clearly made an impression on the OGs too. I mean, Tim wants to work with her. Right. I actually wanted to ask you about that too. That top 5 deal that they made, that they were talking about. Alicia, Johnson, and Tim were talking about that. What did you think of that whole thing? Because here's my one question about this. The vote ended up between Gabby and Alicia 5-5. Estelle had to break the tie, right? So, like, I don't really understand what the point of the whole deal was, to be completely honest, because they were making this deal when they really only knew that the best they could do was force a tie of the votes, which Estelle was not going to vote in their favor on. She was going to send Alicia out. So I feel like, what's the point of Tim like kind of stopping working with the OGs and like saying he's going to work with the newbies and getting this top 5 deal with Alicia if she's going to be gone anyway, because he doesn't know that she's going to get brought back into the house potentially, you know, like, you know what I mean? So it's like the OGs are going to be pissed at him now. Like they know that he voted against them, and maybe they'll just welcome him back because they do need numbers. But like at the same time, I feel like their trust in him is just getting less and less and less. And now the person that you made this top 5 deal with just went home. And I feel like they kind of knew that like the best they were going to do was a tie vote, that Estelle was going to break. So I just didn't really understand it, honestly.
I had similar thoughts, but I also think that we are just victims of the edit. Like, when I put myself in Alicia's position, that's the kind of conversations you have to have with Tim just to get his vote.
Oh, I get it with Alicia.
And scramble.
Yeah,
you just have to get out there and scramble and see what other votes you can get. That's how you have to just present it to Tim, that like, this is what we're looking to do. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm not really sure that when she had that conversation with him, that she realized fully that he would definitely be only the vote that brought her to 5. Excuse me. Like, she probably thought, all right, if I can just get one more.
Yeah.
But you don't want to tell that person that they're only going to be vote number 5, because then they may not give it to you. If they don't feel like they're in the majority, they may not give it to you. So it's kind of better to present it as if like, I just really, really need your vote, and I'm going to be good if you give it to me. And then like, I'm just going to go scramble for the rest of them. I don't know that I'm good, but it doesn't matter. I have to get yours. Yeah, it's such a weird thing.
I totally get it from Alicia's side, but from Tim's side, I don't really, because I feel like it's very obvious to the OGs who flipped their vote. You know what I mean? Like if Dave and Reggie had it their way, it would be a 6-4 vote. They know that Tim was the one that flipped, and I feel like, what's the point of making a deal with someone that's going out the door, and then you're going to piss off your whole alliance because they're going to know that you flipped your vote? You know, that's why I didn't get it from Tim's side, honestly.
Well, he flat out said, he's like, I just want to stick it to her. Let's see how she likes this.
He did say that, which is
I think that was an emotional move.
Yeah. That was definitely like his main motivation, I think, was just...
Yeah, I don't think that had anything to do with strategy whatsoever. No, like that was just, I just want to stick it to her.
He says he's tired of the OG crap and all that in the diary room and all that. Like
I'm going to show you just exactly how tired I am.
And I got to tell you, did you watch the next on portion?
Maybe, but a lot has happened in my life since then. So refresh me.
Well, is there anything, like, I don't want to... Do you have anything else you wanted to say? I didn't know if I stepped on you there.
No, that's the end. It's 11:44. That's the end.
So they were showing on the next on, right? Drew and Alicia obviously plotting revenge in the mainframe room. Tim and Brenton, it looks like they're going to have some kind of weird panic room. But they kept showing something like this week, like, Tim, what have you done? Like, they're setting it up that it looks like one of the OGs is going home, and like it's Tim, like behind it, really. And they didn't really. I'm glad they didn't. They didn't really say. I'm almost mad that I know that an OG is going home. And at least that's what it looks like. But they kept framing it. You know how they did that whole thing? Like, what is Reggie? What has she done? Like when she spilled the beans to Johnson, that they were like going to vote for JC. Like, like that whole thing of like that whole thing though, like what has she done? But that whole thing though, you know what I'm saying? Like that whole what has she done? Whatever, and then like they did that for Tim, and they kept saying like, oh, like a legend is exiting the game, and OG, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh god, I'm freaking out now. But sorry, let's talk about this, Reggie.
Well, first of all, don't be sorry. I don't even remember any of that at all. The Reggie thing, I'm trying to. Okay, yo. I rewatched this moment so many times. And what I'm trying to do right now, which is why I didn't want you to stop talking, that video didn't I send you a video of it?
I don't know.
Oh, if I didn't, I made a video of it for myself because I thought it was one of the funniest things I had seen in some time. And I just did a clip of it because, you know, obviously like Tim and friends totally coached Reggie around, you know, not spilling the beans. This is how you play the game. Blah blah blah. Don't say anything to anyone that we're targeting JC. Like, don't say anything. And then she really flarned it. She really flarned it.
Immediately.
And I'm telling you, this cracked me up. I watched this moment so many times. Baga.
I actually tweeted about this. I was like, honestly, Reggie spilling the beans immediately after the strat chat just makes me love her even more.
But that's the thing also too, because like we're saying it happened immediately after the strat chat, and we don't know that it did. Listen, I feel like the way that this is edited works in our favor so many times and works against us a lot. Which is why I just enjoy this version. Like there are pros and cons to all of it. I just love bouncing around from country to country, just watching everybody's Big Brother, because everyone does it different and every way is special. So I say all this to say, I'm in the process of getting this video up. Oh my gosh, wait, I already have it in a better way. Because I was just gonna overlay it, but like, oh no, we still can. No, we should have our comments and our faces. Let's see if we can make it nice. If you made it to the end of this stream, you like hanging out with us. So like whatever.
There was another great Reggie moment in this last episode, by the way. You still need time to get the video ready? It's very quick.
Tell me about it. Just tell me about it.
Tully and Drew were hanging out right outside by like up by the pool or the spa, and they Tully was like, "Oh, you should start another showman so you can really like anchor yourself here." And Drew was like, "With who?" And Tully was like, "Well, there's Alicia, there's Gabby," and he's like, "No." And then Tully was like, "Reggie's taken," and they just cut to Reggie, and she's sitting there, and she's just like, "This spaghetti's terrible." It was so funny. Oh god!
Yeah, I'm glad Reggie. You brought that up because I watched that. I did watch that moment a couple of times too. That was really
spaghetti's terrible.
It's terrible. This is terrible.
Oh man. Did you? And then that comment from Drew, "Tall, let's give it another go. Let's give it another go." She was like, "All right, I'm gonna tap out."
So good. Listen, I love Tully, and I also really, really love Reggie. And this is why I would love to know more about, because it's very, very, and this is. So I'm glad you brought this up, because this makes it so very clear. Like we've heard a number of times in this BBAU house that, like, years ago they were not allowed to talk strategy with each other. I don't understand how Big Brother works without that. And this whole clip, that whole time that Tim is talking to her and like teaching her how to not say certain things, and then the fact that she still did it anyway, really speaks to somebody who doesn't know that end of the game.
Yeah.
Like doesn't fully get it. And I'm so intrigued by all of that. So with that, the OGs had decided that they were not they were going to put up JC. They wanted to vote him in, but obviously they didn't want him to know. So they had an entire, like, basically a coaching conversation, like with Reggie, and telling her like how to play this game. We're not going to be telling anyone that we want to put up JC. And then basically this happened, and excuse my laughter at the end, excuse it. But this is what happened.
What do you reckon? Oh, your name's no. Your name's no.
Well, I've heard JC.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll be honest with you, big brother. This is pretty easy. I now know stuff about people, and I'm going to use it to my advantage.
Who's your biggest person you trust? Like,
Mine?
yeah.
Biggest person I trust would probably be JC.
Bugger.
Probably JC. Bugger! Oh, it's so good. Oh, I love you, Reggie. I love you.
It makes me laugh. I'm telling you, I laugh just as hard every single time I watch it. Like, it's just so good. I've heard JC. Yeah.
Who's the biggest person you trust? JC.
JC. And I'm so upset that I cut it off too soon, because right after that she's just like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this one.
Yeah.
And then Gabby comes into the kitchen and she's like, I'm hearing JC. Oh, really? You reckon? I don't know why. Oh my gosh, what? Gosh, she's so fucking good. She's so great. She's so great. And honestly, listen, I gotta go back to what I said last week. This is exactly why somebody needs to get Reggie out. Because let me tell you something. I'm gonna vote for her. If she makes it to the final 3, I'm voting for her. I'm voting for her.
I think I am.
She's blind. She flaunts all over the place. Nobody cares. I'm voting for her. So don't let her get to final 3. Because you already know where KP's vote's going. Sorry. Like, Reggie is it. And y'all will also know it, because that's why y'all not voting for her. So look out.
I would vote for Reggie. The only thing that I would say is that if Tully is up there, I think my vote's got to go to Tully.
I hope they would give us at least 24 hours to decide. I really had to sleep on it. I had to sleep on it.
Yeah.
Tully has played a great game. She's played a great game. And honestly, from what I can tell, no missteps.
Yeah.
There isn't anything that I can say that Tully did wrong here. The opposite of that, Reggie has done a lot wrong. But she's still there. So, like,
hey, she does a lot right too. Remember that one food challenge? She got like a ton of money for that.
Yeah, she did. She did. But in that case, if you want to go that route, I mean, like, Tully has also done a lot right. I'm not saying Tully has done all wrong, and Reggie has not done all wrong, but like, their games have just been different, and it'd just be a very, very interesting thing to see. I don't know how that would go, at least for me. I'm so glad that we get to vote. We're gonna have a say.
Oh yeah.
And if Reggie and Tully are there, I'm gonna have a hard time.
Yeah. Well.
And with that,
my God, I love this game.
I love it so much. I love it so much. Can't get enough. I don't have anything else though.
Yeah, me either. It's a great week.
It was a wonderful week. Thank you, Australia. Thank you, our Big Brother 14 house guests. That's it. Or Big Brother 3 house guests, if you're counting the Channel 7 way, which annoying. Can you just keep it all the same for us Big Brother International fans? All right, we don't need all these different numbers. We're very confused. Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah. We're having a hard enough time figuring out time zones.
Right. Figuring out time zones. I still don't know what time Monday is happening. I'm just going to show up early and just sit here, see who comes. More of that to come. Anyway. You're good? You're happy? You're happy, ma'am?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Wow. BB Jury Duty on the socials or bbjuryduty.com. That's all we got. It's 11:55. It's time for bed.
Yeah, it's late.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Challenge All Stars 3, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, because John corrected me on this whole thing. I was writing a lot of EST, and he's like, it really should be EDT, and I was like, oh, okay. And then like 2 weeks after, I was like, maybe we shouldn't be saying that at all. Maybe it's stupid. I'm like, I hate you. So there's that. It's 9:30 p.m. EDT, whatever it is, and but the real moneymaker is Big Brother. That's what we really care about. That's at 10:30. All that is staying the same. We might have some bonus content next week.
Yeah.
It's a might. I'm not really convinced that it's still happening. I'm very skeptical.
Have faith.
Oh, I have faith. That's why I said it. I also just wanted to CYA. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening. We love this game and we love you. And we'll be back next week. Anything else?
Nope.
Rowdies. Thank you.